This is from Real America's Voice, which is not real. It has nothing to do with America. And I don't know why it's voice when it's a recording or a video or this. Never mind. They obviously speak on behalf of real Americans, and I'm not one of them, and neither are you. So what are you going to do? It's so sad. Okay, this is titled "The Plot Thickens, Damning New Details Emerge in Jan 6 Pipe Bomb Cover-Up." So it is, according to the Darren Beattie, who's his friends call him Dung. There's damning new evidence, and it's a cover-up. Let's find out.
Beattie, we got you on here for breaking news.
It's pronounced Beattie.
Coming out of Revolver on your investigation on J6, but I got to ask you because you're the world's living expert.
You've got to what him?
Beattie, we got you on here for breaking news coming out of Revolver on your investigation on J6, but I got to ask you because you
got to ask him? Well, I mean,
Moon River.
Not my business.
The world's living expert on Victoria Nuland and color revolutions. It's kind of sad to see her, really the queen of Ukraine, sitting there on a cold square in the middle of the night, getting off a plane with one microphone there. No Zelensky, no big pomp and circumstance. Your thoughts, sir?
Yes, truly a sad moment for Miss Nuland. But, you know, in the color revolution game, there are ups and there are downs, and I'm sure that she'll. Most recently, I'd like to note that the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, that we've reported on her involvement in his.
Dorothy, idea what they were doing. You've been all over J6. You got more blockbuster news up on Revolver. Walk us through where your investigation is taking us.
It's taking you to jail, I think.
Well, this is a rapidly developing piece, and I think
dun dun dun.
This is not only going to be the
plot thickens, damning new details emerge in Jan 6 pipe bomb cover-up. Well, let's hear it. All right.
Biggest story in the country.
Wow.
This is going to be proven as one of the biggest scandals and operations and cover-ups in recent American history, and that is
how recent are we talking? We're talking. I mean, obviously the death of, the alleged death of Epstein and Donald Trump's hand in it obviously is a huge part of that. I don't know if, obviously, that's a big one. I mean, there's been so many of these, right? Okay.
There's no exaggeration. This pipe bomb story keeps getting worse and worse. So,
well, I mean, I would think any cold case that continues gets worse until it gets better.
The last time I was on here, I described a video, about a 7-minute video depicting the DNC bomb being discovered, and there were pretty glaring anomalies, chief among which is the fact that after being informed of the presence of a bomb,
they finished their lunch in 4 minutes and blah, 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 because they told you to go talk to the Secret Service guys, and he did, and they continued to do that, but the Secret Servicers who called it in, and they were the first ones out of their car, and then the cops followed up when the other people showed up.
Feet away, the Secret Service has zero reaction. It takes them over a minute.
Well, zero panic, I would say. I don't know that you can't see what their reaction actually is. Now, because here's one of the things. If you just discovered a bomb next to the car, even right there, the vice president's in the building. It's a pipe bomb. The person goes, it looks like one of the same one that was over at the RNC. It looks like a pipe bomb. Okay, first thing we're going to do is make sure that the vice president goes out the other side of the fucking building right now. Get her out of there. We're not going to do anything. We're not getting out of the fucking car in case they decide to trigger it or any of that other shit, but we're not going to be the ones that take her away. You guys, Team 2 is going to go pick her up on the other side of the fucking building. You're going to evacuate her, or at least get her far enough away where she's not in danger from a bomb this size. It's an anti-personnel shrapnel bomb. It's not going to go through the fucking concrete, but we're going to move her to the other side of the building, if not entirely outside the building, and that can be done entirely via wireless communication even in 2021.
Even bother to getting out of their vehicles.
What are they going to do? Scream and clap? What is it? It's not a fucking stray dog.
At which point they stand around for an additional 2 minutes.
While they're looking at the perimeter, checking it out, feeding information through their little earpieces, and waiting for the bomb squad to show up.
In the most lackadaisical fashion imaginable. And then the most flagrant aspect of the video, they allow a group of children to cross the street and walk within feet of this bomb. it's clear.
Okay. I don't know what they mean by children. There were a couple of adults that I saw. The idea that they're children seems to be something that they're making up. There was not a fucking Untouchables moment where a fucking stroller was bouncing down the fucking stairs in the middle of a gunfight. Like
that they knew the bomb posed no threat to themselves.
Because the other one was a dud and they knew it was probably similar and they didn't want to react quickly in case this one was different because the bomber seemed to be more associated with killing people at the DNC than the RNC. So if they got out of the car and they were like, there it is, that might, if they had, had a remote control for it, they might trigger it immediately.
Their protectee, Kamala Harris.
They hadn't blown it yet, so why would they blow it now if they don't know we're onto them?
Nor to the pastors.
Maybe they're waiting for her to come out. Therefore, we'll get her to go out the other way. Therefore, everybody will act normal until such time as we can lock down the street. Because the sooner we do it, they might blow it immediately and kill everybody. Because that's how you handle a situation. Or this is an alternative. I will give you this. Or you could jump out of your car like a fucking dumbass and slide across the hood like you're in a cheap action film and go, get down! And tackle some kids on concrete, breaking their arms and that kind of stuff for a dud, or to make the bomber go, they're onto me, and blow it up and kill you and the kids at the same time. They hadn't set it off yet. There was no particular timing on it. It wasn't moving. They're being calm about it seems to be the smart plan. And the primary thing is making sure that the vice president is cleared out through the other side of the fucking building.
By including these children.
By the way, how's nobody walking them through this shit? Because I got to believe they're just intentionally dumb.
Children. So the question, the damning question, the burning question is
how do you not think this shit through?
Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail at the DNC have known that bomb was fake and benign?
They didn't. They didn't. That's why it was blown up at the scene. And as a matter of fact, the reaction to it was the smart path.
It's one of the damning questions. And in fact,
no, there are no damning questions. There are damning answers. That's what damns you. Asking a bunch of fucking dipshit questions. The only thing damning about that question is how idiotic that you're even asking it. It is that you're even asking it. I can complete a sentence.
Recent meeting with Congressman Massey and some of his staff.
Jesus Christ. So you were like, I'm not feeling dumb enough about this. I should go meet with somebody who's even dumber than I am so I can feel superior.
And some judiciary staff and some Capitol Hill police staff, including at least one officer who was present at the scene.
At least one? There was a fucking cop car there. They were walking the perimeter.
When this DNC bomb was being discovered, they were asked these questions. They were asked, well, what's the deal? Why did the Secret Service not react? Why did you guys not react? What was going on there? And their answer was, we didn't want to cause a panic.
Right. Yes. If the bomb's on a timer, it's going to go off when it goes off, but it was inert and it was stopping. It had an egg timer on it. There was no other thing. So if it was real, there was no immediate danger from it going off by its own. On its own. If anybody went over and touched it or whatever, that'd be different. But nobody's seen it. Nobody's moved towards it. It hasn't gone off yet. And the only thing it would be there for is to kill the vice president. We're already taking care of her. Also, if it is remote controlled and this is just a bait and switch, the other one's fake, but this one's real, by moving towards it, if the guy hasn't set it off now and he's waiting for the vice president to come out, we send the vice president out the other fucking way and we don't all make any fast moves and because it might get civilians killed. Why the fuck is this not obvious to every fucking person?
Steve, you've dealt with the Secret Service. I've dealt with the Secret Service. Is it believable for them to say that the Secret Service is informed of an explosive device within feet of where they are, within feet of their protectee, who is the vice president-elect?
She wasn't in the car, dumb fuck.
And they allow children to walk right by it, and they do nothing. And the reason for that is they don't want to cause panic. What about the panic of the bomb blowing up?
Hold. Hang on.
Hang on. Egg timer. 17 hours. Go.
Hey, slow down. Are you telling me that?
No, this is one of these are you saying that maybe the Secret Service was in on it? I don't know. Who was the president at the time? They had to follow his orders.
That's their official response back to back to Revolver, when you've shown them the evidence that you had, that's their response?
That wasn't their response directly to me. That was their response in this meeting that took place recently that I'm describing, that I happen to know for a fact took place, and that's what they said.
According to your source, which is Massey, who fucking jacks up everything he hears to make it more of a story because he's an idiot.
And the fact that that is their cover, so you would think that at least they would come up with a better cover answer than
no, you wouldn't. That's what you would do in that situation.
That they've had time to think about it. This story has blown up.
That's why they're not lying. If they were lying, they would come up with a better story. That's the fucking that's one of the big reasons they're telling the truth, is because you don't like their answer.
Been over a week. They've had enough time. So the fact that the best that they could come up with, the fact that they
didn't come up with it. That's what happened.
Look someone in the eye and say
the truth, that they'd look someone in the eye and go, this is what happened. When we heard this information, we did what we had to do to move the vice president out the other way. She didn't come out this door. We ended up pulling those vehicles way afterwards and picking her up on the other side of the building with another part of her detail. She was nowhere near the explosion or the possibility of an explosion. We didn't want to overreact to get out there, because if the guy had it on a remote and he saw that people noticed it, he might try to trigger it or whatever. So we moved very slowly until we could block off the street higher up. And then as people cleared, we solidified the street, and then we moved in on it, because that's what you fucking do, instead of just running across a crowd, grabbing the weird backpack and going, I got it.
We didn't want to cause panic, so we just did nothing when being informed of this bomb.
It worked. It worked. No one was harmed by either bomb. All the decisions they made on that day protected human life and worked. Is there a rando possibility in some sort of action movie bullshit, alternate ending that you made up in your fucking head, that where it could have gone south? Absolutely. But protocol being what it is, you're being stupid.
We let children walk right by it. We weren't worried about our...
Children had walked right by it all morning. People had walked by it all morning. It had not gone off. So what would be the two things, if it's not going off on its own and the timer isn't fucking moving, if there's going to be somebody that can trigger it remotely, what would be the reason? If they haven't done it already, if they didn't mean to kill any randos and they want to kill the vice president, well, the first thing we do is make sure she doesn't come anywhere near it. And she didn't. Secondly, you calmly wait until people cross out of the way. You block off the road far enough up where the person viewing the bomb might not be able to see it, and you keep people as they go along their way from doubling back. Then you hold off the area, and they did that, and it took them about 6 minutes. The bomb had been there for 17 hours.
Protectee Kamala Harris. We weren't worried about our own lives.
That's their job.
Flagrant violation of protocol.
No, it isn't. It is and this is just fuck these assholes and their bullshit back the blue storyline. These guys are in danger, and they fucking know it. They don't know the degree of danger, but they're in danger every fucking day. As a matter of fact, they're in danger so often that they disregard the panic that most people feel when they're in physical danger when it fucking happens. Understand that the worst day of your life is average for a cop most of the time. And for Secret Service, they have to presume there's a danger of this all the fucking time. And the one thing the Secret Service never is supposed to do is fucking panic.
Simply does not make sense for them.
It all makes sense. It makes total fucking sense.
To say they want to avoid panic.
But is Loudermilk, he's supposed to be on... Look, it's one of the infuriating things, and one of the reasons McCarthy's gone. They didn't want to get into the details of what happened on the Fedsurrection and on the standing of the election.
The Fedsurrection. Adorable. Have fun in jail, asshole.
Election. But is Loudermilk, is your reporting show you, or your contacts, is Loudermilk, at least because he's got the subcommittee that's still looking, is he on top of this specific thing? And is he going to bring some...
Marjorie Taylor Greene in to be deposed? I'm sorry, what?
witnesses in? Because if that's ever put into the official record, that then becomes beyond explosive, correct?
Indeed. I can't speak to Loudermilk. I can only say that, there have been several stalwarts along the way. Matt Gaetz has been great on the Fedsurrection issue generally.
Oh, fuck you. How's he been on trafficking 17-year-olds who are doped up and fucked by men in their 30s on airplanes to and from, in and out of the state of Florida? How's he on that? I'm curious. I mean, comparatively, you know what I mean? On a scale of 1 to 10, if the scales are balanced, is he an 8 on the Fedsurrection and the human trafficking and doping of 17-year-old girls and bragging about fucking them while they're under the influence of drugs? Is it like both? Or is he better on one than the other? I'm just curious.
But the key driver who's taken our research to the next level using his power in Congress is Congressman Massey, who's responsible for getting this video released in the first place. And so,
dude, A, you need some sleep. Secondly, it's not impressive at all.
He's the only one, the driving force that I can say he's doing whatever is in his power to get this through. I can't speak to Loudermilk. I hope that he would take this up, and I hope more people would take this up because we're so close. Look, I held out 1% chance.
You're so close to what? Announcing the name of the bomber right as the FBI is going to catch them so that they can flee the country?
That maybe there was some exotic, but when you hear it, plausible and innocent explanation for the utterly damning fact pattern that we've uncovered in our reporting. But the fact that when asked, what's the deal with this video? Why, how do they know that the bomb is fake? They clearly know it's fake. They said, no, we just didn't want to cause panic. That is not a believable answer.
Yeah, it is.
They were also asked, what are the circumstances of discovering this DNC bomb? Because remember.
Also, by the way, I'm not even going to take that as their actual answer because that's fourth hand. Like, this is a fucking game of telephone. You should change the name of Revolver to Telephone.
Remember, this DNC bomb, when it was discovered at 1:05 p.m. on the 6th, had been sitting out there undiscovered for over 17 hours.
Right, and it had not gone off. And if the timer wasn't going to make it go, we don't want people running into fucking traffic and getting hit by a car, so no panic. And if the bomber was just using a timer, these timers as a fake out, and he had a remote control on it, we didn't want we didn't want them to know we were on to her.
And so I've always found it strange
that reality just keeps moving along no matter how many times you try to interrupt it with bullshit.
This DNC bomb was sitting there undiscovered for 17 hours, undiscovered by passersby, by motorists, by pedestrians on a very high foot traffic morning on January 6th, by the regularly stationed physical.
It's almost like we live at a time when people are on their phones all the fucking time, and that they only started looking for it after this woman accidentally saw the one at the RNC.
DNC security guard who's usually posted no more than 10 feet away from where the bomb was planted. And then the coup de grace, the Secret Service.
Yeah, but he's planted there. That's the fucking point. He's guard at the door. He's not a perimeter guard. They don't have one.
United States. Yep. The very same Secret Service that clearly knows the bomb is fake managed not.
No, again, no, don't clearly know. First of all, that it can't detonate on its own. That doesn't mean it's fake. It has explosive materials in it. It just is not wired properly, or is just wired to look dangerous, but not actually go off.
To find
which doesn't make it fake, still dangerous. If you flicked a cigarette at it, you might be able to set it off.
The bomb in the sweep that they're on record as having conducted prior to Kamala Harris entering the building. So the bomb's sitting out there undiscovered for over 17 hours. Then magically it's discovered 15 minutes after the first one is discovered.
I blame all the passersby.
At the Capitol Hill Club. And it's
almost like they asked one of the the plainclothes guys to do a walk of the perimeter after they found the other one.
First one is discovered at 12:40. This random woman stumbles upon it at 12:40. She goes and informs a security guard in the Capitol Hill Club.
Obviously, she's working for the FBI. Clearly, her name has been released, but it's probably fake, and she's probably a man.
The Capitol Hill police start responding to this at 12:50. This is 3 minutes before the initial and decisive West Perimeter breach in which Ray Epps was involved. So just to
Ray Epps? Wait a minute. Hold on. You don't get to, what the fuck does Ray Epps have to do with this? And secondly, if they hadn't found him by then, was the bomber expecting them to be found a lot earlier? And it only happened around this time because this woman, who is a random woman, saw it? What were they fucking waiting for? 7 o'clock at night?
summarize.
Was somebody going to walk by later after they've been sitting there and go quack and then walk away and actually blow them?
That and really help people digest it. We're supposed to believe that both of these bombs that were planted the evening before were sitting around for 16, 17 hours, undiscovered, and both independently happened to be pulled upon within a 15.
They weren't independently discovered. They weren't. The first woman found it, and then they went into overdrive to deal with it, and then that made them look at the DNC. That's why it was a cop who found it in plain clothes, like, hey, walk a perimeter, make sure there's not something around there. We found something at the RNC, and we're not quite sure what the fuck's going on, so do a lap and let these guys know if you see anything. And the dude saw something, and he said something, and then it took them 6 minutes to clear the area and cover the shit. Like, why is this a fucking conspiracy? Get over your fucking self.
Minute window of that unfolding attack on the West Perimeter of the Capitol. That is...
Look, unless you can tie the random woman doing her laundry who saw the thing to the actual, unless she has fucking Bannon's fucking phone number at the Mayflower Hotel where Mark Meadows was FaceTiming him and Roger Stone at the beginning of this shit, and you're going to say it was all run from, by the way, the head of the federal government, if everybody was a fucking Fed at that time, was Donald Trump. If you're going to say that she's tied to it, show me that shit. I don't want to hear about anybody else unless because she triggered the whole thing. She's the only reason they found the first one, and then the second one was found because they were looking. If she hadn't found that one, it would have just stayed there. Maybe the bomber would have gone like, what the fuck? They never found these fucking things?
It's infinitesimally implausible. And
it's not even remotely implausible.
What that means is really dark and really serious because, look, the regime, they know this story is...
Regime. Fedsurrection. You guys are adorable.
...has reached escape velocity. They moved from...
Wait, these are those motherfuckers who actually think there's a deep state, right? It's cute.
...suppression mode to damage control mode. And one of the things they're going to...
Damage control. Yes, they wanted to control the amount of damage the bombs could do.
...try to do, Steve, is to keep this mess within the pipe bomb. And that's a big enough mess in its own right, believe me. But they're going to try to prevent that from metastasizing into the other dimensions of January 6th that we've covered.
Who's they? The fucking Freedom Caucus?
Principally, that peace monument breach on the West Perimeter that was the subject of our major piece called Meet Ray Epps Part 2. But the smoking gun is the synchronicity. You simply cannot explain by mere chance that these bombs were sitting there for 17 hours and were both independently, randomly discovered within...
They weren't. One was randomly discovered. Once it was discovered, they checked the other place and found the other one there too. And if you can't prove that the woman who found the first one is any part of this, then the activities after, from that point forward, are not a part of a big fucking plan. Because nobody bases a plan on a random lady doing her laundry, seeing a bunch of fucking wires hidden under a fucking bench.
In a 15-minute window corresponding...
And by the way, the 15-minute window is based on the activity that started. When they found a bomb, it took them 15 minutes to go, oh, fuck, there might be something else over there. We should probably look. Holy shit, there is something here. Everybody stay cool in case this dickhead has a remote control. We'll kind of ghost around it, wait till these folks pass, shut off the roads, get the bomb squad in here. Fuck me. Just keep eating your lunch, guys. If he's watching, we don't want him to know that we know what's up.
exactly with that attack.
God damn, these guys are dumb. This is just fucking weak.
And it's even more damning because the official version.
It's not damning at all.
For why that attack was so successful was that the resources were diverted in order to address the pipe bomb.
They weren't. That's not the only reason. Another layer of fucking bike racks wasn't going to be the linchpin on these folks, and they weren't going to fucking, once the breach happened, they weren't going to go, quick, get more bike racks over here. God damn.
Darren, we're really pressed for time, but I need everybody to read.
But I need you to say what you said again, only try and make it make sense.
This story, because this is about to hit escape velocity. Just where do they go right?
Escape velocity. It's the tip of the spear, armor-piercing shells, fucking, and other Navy terms.
Now in Revolver to get it and to share it. You got to push it out.
What's your social media? What's your socials and stuff like that? Before they shadow ban you, what's your socials with the social? We know the name of your thing. People aren't. You have to understand, my viewers are fucking idiots, so you'll have to tell them give them the whole URL. Start HTTPS : that's the 2 dots on top of each other. Don't write out the word : // that's this direction, / not backslash. That will give you something else. Revolver.com / and the article title with dashes in between the words .html plus. Say that.
There you go.
Yep. Revolver.news.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not doing them any favors. I refuse. I'm not going to do them any favors. But I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to give you a great show tomorrow morning for the morning show on Friday. It's a good time. Next Tuesday, by the way, for the jam, melodic rock. We're doing the melodies, the rock melodies, and got a nice lineup of songs. I tried to get a Winger song in there, but Jake Fawn is not available. He plays in Winger sometimes, and we love Kip, and he's a good man. He's a good dude. And so at some point, we're going to do a Winger song, and I'm going to try and get him up there, and Kip and I'll sing together. I want to do Headed for a Heartbreak. Yeah. And then I want to do Bringing on the Heartache by, like as a melody, as a medley, but full songs. Headed for a Heartache from Def Leppard. I think those go very well together. Tuesday, yes. So whether I'm doing a show Tuesday or not, we'll see, depending on the timing. It's heavy lifting vocally, so it's probably best that I take the day off from talking as much as I do. The damage that it does to my vocal cords. As much as I love you guys. And I'm trying to get Johnny out here to do one with me. I think we're going to, the next time we do some Cheap Trick, I'm going to drag that motherfucker out here. I'm going to buy him a fucking plane ticket and get him out there. In the meantime, like, support the show. Thank you guys so much. Venmo is a great way to support the show. Lovely, helpful. Buy me a coffee if you feel like I entertained and educated you today. Patreon.com/HalSparks. There's plenty of levels. Big ones and small, whatever works for you. And then at some point, if you're really nice, we'll solve all these problems and Donald Trump will no longer be an issue and this whole show will just be me singing. Just going to be me enjoying myself and telling little stories about the kidney. Scared yet?